hearted well-wisher and from the international community. Thank you very much, Princess Misakere. Probably you all know, many of you know where Uganda is. Really, it's in the Great Lakes region of East Africa. It's also at the center of some of the great empires of the past of Africa. We have had so many empires in East and Central Africa in the past. We have the Batembuzi Empire, which encompassed the entire Great Lakes region, parts of Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, and then the Mwogezi Empire, again same area, parts of Congo as well, the DRC, and then the Babito Empire, and then the successor kingdoms, the same area. So Uganda is at the core, it's at the center. It's been the crossroads from north, south, from west, the east, and back and forth. So the kingdom that we're talking about, Buruli Kingdom, is one of the new kingdoms in that Great Lakes area. It's a successor kingdom, some of those earlier kingdoms of the empire. It is part of the Bunyoro Kitara Empire. It was established as a county by one famous king called Isaza. Isaza ruled the entire Great Lakes area sometime back in the far past, and then established Buruli as a county. And by the way, he's remembered for having been the first king to appoint a lady to be the county chief of that area. And Buruli was one of the richest counties of Bunyoro Kitara. It's a good grazing area. You have the flat plains and so on. So he felt that this area should be ruled over by a lady. You know, in those old days, those very, very old days, that lady was called Nyangoma. She was a twin. Then she became very ambitious and wanted to create a kingdom of her own. Then her powers were recalled. She went back to the king Isaza, and then subsequent other chiefs came in. But that area was very prosperous, independent. You had proud people living there because of their wealth. And actually Buruli, the name Buruli, apart from being a Jewish name, it is also, we can say in modern terms, a corruption of the word Buduli. Buduli means people who boast, very boastful because of their achievements. Of course, they were achieving a lot. They had a lot of cattle, fish, everything to eat and so on, and they are very happy, prosperous people. So they could boast about it. Yes, just like some of the most developed countries these days also boast about their achievements. Also, yes. In all areas, scientific and what have you, culture and what have you. So they too could boast. And that was the situation of happy, prosperous people, an area which is very rich, until colonialism set in. Yes, colonialism set in, and of course the European colonial intention was to grab as much land everywhere in the world, purposely really for resources, for the development of the colonial masters. It set in. Of course, when it set in, then the prosperity and happiness of Buruli went spiraling downwards. course, at that time, Buruli, part of New Victoria Empire, fought under a very famous king called King Kabalega. I think among the greatest freedom fighters that Africa has produced, at least in that area, King Kabalega stands out number one. And I think in stature and determination and resoluteness, he compares very well with Nelson Mandela, the present Nelson Mandela. So he fought. Unfortunately, well, he could not stand really the might of the Maxim gun. The gun, the gun had the day those days, and we lost. He lost. So Buruli also, well, these generals also lost. Now that area, part of it was left in Europe, part of it now came to Uganda, the richer part, and the other part was left in the north of Uganda, and problems began. Some of the problems which Mr. Viere is tackling, I think, can be traced from those times when a once prosperous community, free, enterprising, was brutally and mercilessly brought down and put under an administration which was not very sympathetic at all, not at all. So that was the situation, and it's sometimes very difficult for people who have been free for a long time to appreciate what could have happened. But given a war situation where, these days people talk of genocide and what have you, but I think that area, the New Victoria Empire, really suffered the worst genocide that probably is comparable. In Europe, there was a king called Attila the Hun. Probably you've heard of him. That Attila, very ruthless, sweeping everything alive before him. That's exactly what happened. And probably, maybe that's the way to reduce a proud and prosperous community. So that happened. And some of the things now that we are, like Princess Maria is looking at, girl children, place looking desolate and so on. There was a policy that was adopted, it was scorched earth policy. Real scorched earth. Literally, it's burning the place up. Methodically, from village to village, until the area was conquered. So it's been a period of recovery. It's taken long. The trauma has never gone. I'm speaking, yes, I'm now 72. I didn't see those wars which took place, but I can vividly, from what my grandmother told me, my grandfather, vividly realize what happened. And I can see maybe part of the effect. The trauma never went. You have proud people cowed down, but not completely destroyed, but they're there. However, products of the policy which deliberately, kept them down, and then they are coming up. So it's only when the current NRM government came in power that a program of renaissance started. Now we have His Highness the King in place, trying to, put the bits together of the area culture and trying to again raise the spirit of freedom, of independence, the pride, and working hard to restore the former glory of people who are resilient, resourceful, rich, and proud of every aspect of their culture. Culture, as you know, is very important. Culture is important. and because of the great influence really it has on the people and the community. Culture influences even the way we look at things, the way we behave, the world view, and so on. But also it gives us a sense of security because we live together in a community and we share our fears, our joys together through culture. So it's important, but also and all encompassing. And of course, in culture, it's not an isolated culture. A culture, if it's just within and it's endogenic, looking at itself, it's not going to be a good culture at all. Culture, obviously, cannot live in isolation, or a community cannot live in isolation. It's been, now it's not even now, no longer possible to really live in isolation. Even the most remote island probably is connected to some people, some group. Even places which are very difficult to live in, like Iceland, are connected. And so it's therefore important to network, to live with other people, to know what they are doing, and to appreciate the way they are doing things, and also to learn the best practices of how they go over various challenges. Therefore, it's important. It's important. Culture is important. It has to be preserved. But we are also, for its own good reasons, but we also have to network and live together with other people for the mutual benefit of our communities. Some of the important attributes that we can see in, let's say, the Buruli culture, at the moment, we are, I can say, in our culture, recovering from the after effects of that great war. We started the journey of education a little bit late. Not because of our wish, but because of the policies. And we are living in a situation which was semi-feudal, but where you had two big imperial groups. The big imperial group, the British, but then the sub-imperial group of the other expanding kingdom of Uganda, and loading it over us. Now, with the new changes and the new constitution, where everybody really is now equal, some of these effects are in recession. They are receding. So it gives us a chance now to recover and certainly now get on to the difficult job of developing, of making sure that we have a good, fulfilling or fulfilled life. We can overcome the trauma, we can work and network with other people, and of course reach out, to friends of humanity in Canada, elsewhere, and together we create a society that definitely has mutual respect for each other. A society that is developing, a society that is ready to reciprocate some good turn given to it. And we also forge good, strong relationships with the friends of Africa, friends of Uganda, friends of humanity. And we share, because one of the big things that we have in our culture is respect for humanity. We call it Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Ubuntu means, that quality. You respect a human being, regardless of whether that person is rich, is poor, regardless of whether he's obvious own tribe, and then from there we move. And we don't look at you because you are not so rich, you don't have too many dollars in your account, therefore you don't matter. No, dollars or no dollars, you matter. And in any case, when a child is born, which child has ever been born with dollars? That the mother produced a child, produced Princess Misabiede, and then a few minutes later, she also produced, millions of dollars. It's a human being. Human being. Yeah. Whether it's a boy, it's a girl. You don't say, oh, my child has produced a white. No. Child, my wife or my mother produced a child, a boy child, or a girl child. That's it. All these other things come with their, social things. Right? This is Bangladeshi, this is Buruli, this is Belgian, and so on. But basically, we are Bantu. Yeah? We are human. Bantu means we are human beings. And therefore we have those intrinsic attributes of Bantu, which is Ubuntu, respect for each other, and the support of the dignity of the human being. That's the culture. That's what we have. Then these other things come in. And once we have that, then there's no reason why we can't work together, why we can't help each other, why we can't share and learn best practices from one community to the other. This is where I'd like to thank the Canadian government, really, for hosting us and for keeping us, all of us Ugandans. Thank you very much indeed. I think it is moving close to the Ubuntu philosophy. Yes, respecting, these are human beings of whatever diverse origin, but we are all human beings and we're here to live and to help each other and work together. So really, the few minutes I was given, that's really the best. That's what the best I can do. Thank you very much. So, let's preserve our culture. Let's network. Let's help each other. And then we can see development. But finally, for those who are not Ugandans, there's one place in the world which you must visit before you die. And that is